Hey guys, it's Ken Scott. And you know who I am, a Senior U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with Triple W, US Entry Waiver Services.com. All right, guys, so it looks like on the platform we're shifting more towards like an educational type deal regarding these border crossing cases. We're still getting people cleared. We still have our 100% success rate as of May 2021. Prior to that, it was 99%. But as of today, which is April 4th, 2025, we're still at the 100% success rate. So a lot of things been in the news lately, guys. You hear a lot of hysteria in the news about border crossing. And a lot of these lawyers actually facilitate it, to be honest. I myself attended law school as well, but I don't understand why a lot of these lawyers don't get these basic concepts. I mean, this stuff is like grade seven. So a lot of the stuff they put in the news, and they say that it's so shocked that this is happening to Canadians, that's happening. Uh, Canadian is still a foreign national and still subject to the U.S. immigration code. I mean, it's just as plain as day as the nice what was that, a palm tree with the nice trees behind me and the nice waves coming in. I mean, it's common sense. Anyway, this video is going to be about why and how. Should I say why and how? More so, I'm going to say why Trump is doing what he's doing. Okay, let's just switch this over. And the thing is, he did say he was going to do this. Okay. All right, guys. So January 20th, 2025, he one of his this is his executive order. He had a couple of them, but this is his executive order. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and national security and public safety threats. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Guys, if you guys understand English, you already know what I just read. Okay, so let's go down here. Let's dive into this. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the Immigration Nationality Act, and section is hereby ordered. I'm skipping over the boring parts. It is the policy of the United States to protect its citizens from aliens who intend to commit terrorist attacks, threaten our national security, espouse hateful ideology, or otherwise exploit the immigration laws for oh, you guys see it. Sorry. Thing is, because I've learned three or four different languages. Sometimes when I my English pronunciation of certain things sounds a bit twisted. Should say Manila, Melvin. Oh, anyway, you guys get the point. To protect Americans, the United States must be vigilant during the visa issuance process to ensure that those aliens approved for admission into the United States do not intend to harm Americans or our national interests. Guys, it says right here, to protect Americans, the U.S. must be vigilant during the visa issuance process to ensure that those aliens approved for admission into the United States do not intend to harm Americans or our national interests. By the way, guys, this also includes waivers. More importantly, the United States must identify them before their admission or entry into the United States. And the United States must ensure that admitted aliens and aliens otherwise already present in the United States do not bear hostile attitudes toward its citizens, cultural government, institutions, or founding principles, and do not advocate for aid or support designating foreign terrorists and other threats to our national security. So, guys, all this stuff you see in the news, they're talking about so many people got turned around because their phones were searched, and there were things criticizing the Trump administration or things praising like Hamas or Hezbollah or whatever. Guys, this is all in the his executive order from January 20th, so it's kind of not nothing new. He said he was going to do it by virtue of his order, and it's being done. So I don't get why these lawyers don't grasp this simple concept. But more importantly, this one, enhanced vetting and screening across agencies. The Secretary of State, in coordination with the Attorney General, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and Director of National Intelligence, shall promptly identify all resources that may be used to ensure that all aliens seeking admission to the United States or who are already in the United States are vetted and screened to the maximum degree possible. Guys, this directly ties into U.S. entry waivers. So, for you guys that need these U.S. entry waivers, this is why, since he's been in office, they've come down hard on these waivers. And what they've done now, they're actually writing back on a lot of these waivers. And I said this in the other video. They're writing back on a lot of these waivers, asking a whole lot more questions, whole lot more. And they're looking for any reason possible to revoke your approved waiver once you're at that port of entry. Now, if you give them an approved reason, yeah, they're going to revoke it. They're not likely going to shackle you or whatever, but they're going to revoke it. It says so right here, essentially. All resources used to ensure that all aliens seeking admission to the United States are screened to the maximum degree possible. So, if you got a waiver for, let's say, misrepresentation, you used a fake passport back in the day, but they also have determined that you sold cocaine in Surrey, whether you're convicted or not, but they find out about it, your waiver's going to get revoked based upon this and also other parts of the U.S. Immigration Code. They're putting more emphasis on screening people entering the USA. So for these lawyers that come on the media and say they can't understand why, I mean, it's like common sense 101. It's right here in this directive. This is why. So either you guys don't know what you're doing or you're trying to get business, but it's right here in plain English. So if you guys can read plain English, it's right there. What's so hard to understand about it? And why are you so shocked that Canadians are being treated this way? Because Canadians are still technically a foreign national. Maybe in the past they were a bit more lax, which it is what it is, but that ship has sailed. And that ship may not be coming back to port for a while, in all honesty. And what else in here? Adjudicating visa, mission benefit. Yeah, you guys need to read this order. It ties into everything I've just been talking about. Oh, here we go. This also ties into these waivers. Vet and screen to the maximum degree possible all aliens who intend to be admitted. Guys, this right here is singing my song. So common sense says if you've got a waiver for car theft, you go to the border, they haul you aside, they grill you closer, and you're like, what the fuck? I've had this waiver for 15 years. It doesn't make a difference. You still have a criminal conviction as far as US is concerned for car theft. So you're still going to be checked closer. Mind you, if they cannot find anything else against you, they're likely going to just let you in. But anyone can be pulled aside to secondary. So with the diplomats, it's a little different, but generally speaking, anyone can be pulled aside for secondary, whether you have a waiver or not. Whether you had a waiver for, the past 200 years, you've had a waiver. It doesn't make a difference because they have to vet and screen to the maximum degree possible all aliens who intend to be admitted. Same with these waiver applications. We've got a guy, he got his own waiver. He went a different place. Obviously, the packet wasn't done correctly and he got approved. But now what they did, they wrote back on his file, even though his waiver is approved, asking more questions. So he was just gobsmacked by it. But this is why. Another gentleman yesterday, they already issued him a waiver before, but now they wrote back and they want more information. Now they want basically a second waiver because he had a deportation in the past. Even though he got a waiver, I think it was what, a year and a half ago, they didn't ask, but they caught their own mistake and now they want a second waiver, which is fine. So he and I discussed the price and we came to a mutually agreed upon amount. Um, Identifying countries throughout the world for which vetting and screening is so deficient as to want a partial or full suspension. Yeah, they're gonna come down hard on places like, well, of course, well, Iraq, Sudan, um, Ethiopia, Jordan, uh, maybe even Vietnam, maybe. So certain countries they feel might be related to a national security threat or other related issues. They're gonna come down harder. That's already happened. Identifying, okay, that's fine for that. I'm trying to cherry pick here, guys, for the relevant stuff for the border crossing cases for the Canadians. Provisions, guidance. Yeah, all this stuff ties in. I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer reading it. But you really got to get a copy of this order and read it, and you guys will see how this ties in. Yeah, I'm not going to read the entire thing. It's boring to you guys. But my main point for this video is this is why you're getting checked a lot closer at the U.S. border. I mean, again, it's common sense 101 based upon this order from January 20th for extreme vetting. So you guys that need these waivers, you need to understand. You definitely need to understand something. And you can't say like the person who said to me an hour ago, um, this person has a drug trafficking conviction from 20 years ago. And nice guy, but the impression I got from the gentleman was that, oh, it's 20 years ago. It doesn't make a difference. They don't care. It could have been 200 years ago. They don't care. You still have a conviction for drug trafficking. And too many Canadians have a habit of just trying to just like minimize this kind of stuff. You guys can't do that. As far as US is concerned, you still have a conviction. You're still a convict. Even if you have a Canadian pardon, which the US does not recognize Canadian pardons, they don't care. Especially now with Trump in, they don't care. As far as they're concerned, you still have a criminal record and you're still inadmissible to the USA. So a lot of these videos, like I said, is more so for educational purposes, so you guys can be aware of what's going on. But really, in all honesty, you got to change your way of thinking. A lot of these Canadians, you got to change your way of thinking in terms of dealing with Homeland Security because these guys, especially now, they're not playing around. You can't mess with these guys. Guys meaning CBP and really the U.S. government. You just can't do this. And you can't minimize this stuff, these offenses. One of the biggest disservices here in Canada, though, is these discount waiver companies say, "Oh, don't worry, all you had was this a small pot charge, 15 years ago, or you only stole a car back in 1990, you sold two cars, or you just told a lie one time at the border." Guys, you gotta stop falling for that trick. They're minimizing this stuff just so they can get your money, and they're also trying to charge you these dirt cheap prices because they know the government fee is 1,100. They know this. So they're trying to get as much business in as possible. So, oh, don't worry, just have a small pot charge or you just told a lie at the border. Guys, that's straight bullshit. And the border officers will tell you that because now they don't play. Under this administration, they don't play. And if Trump gets a third term, which they're talking about it, I mean, by law, he cannot. But this stuff is changing on a daily basis. So if he happens to get a third term or someone similar to himself get in behind him, this stuff is not going to change. If anything, the application fees will go up. The government application fee from 1,100 to who knows what. So if you guys want to enter the USA, you got to get serious about this stuff, and you gotta. And trust me, I understand about the prices. I get the Canadian economy is not the best right now, and I think I haven't checked today, but I think it's like 70 cents, 69 cents per one US dollar. I totally get it. But if you guys want this stuff done right, it's going to cost you money. And I cannot overemphasize that because when I told this gentleman 2,800 for what he had, he says something to the effect that okay, he's going to think about it and call back, and that means that he's going to shop around for a cheap price. What's going to happen is if he gets a cheap price, which he just might, which is fine, and he gets his denial and he comes back, then I'm going to have to charge him a lot more to fix the damage that these cheap waiver companies do because They don't have the DHS regulations. They don't have the internal knowledge. They don't know the behind the scenes stuff, especially for what his thing. And because he's had a waiver before, it means nothing. It means fuck all. Because the fact that each waiver application is assessed by the reviewing officer. So different officer, different opinion. You guys can't go by that. So it's just a renewal. It's not a renewal. It's a reapplication. If I can get the people out in the public to realize that, it would be one less thing we have to deal with at the office here. So a lot of this stuff is just basically education. And these discount waiver companies charging five, six, $700 for this stuff, and you guys get either scammed or denied. I'm going to say to you, well, I may not say it, but I'm going to think to myself, what did you expect? You got three convictions for drug trafficking, and you paid 650 or 700, and you got a big fat denial. What the hell did you expect for 650, $700? They don't know what they're doing. And they don't keep up with all the changes as well, because this stuff's always changing. We have the inside track, I will just say, and I'll leave it at that. We have the inside track at the U.S. government where we get stuff that's behind the scenes. And there's some behind the scenes stuff that's coming down the pipeline within the next, what did he tell me? This is already April, May, June. He told me by summer, by July, there's gonna, that's going to be some changes coming about again. So you guys heard it first from me, but it's going to be the safest way to say it is it's going to be changes related to border crossing and green cards. Because luckily for me, I had a chance to form a lot of like friendships with a lot of these uh, government employees since I used to work with the U.S. government. We kept in touch over the years. Sit down, drink a beer. All that I drink organic wine, but drink a beer, hang out, and talk on Zoom, and they give me the latest scoop. So that's male or female. So especially a lot of female friends from U.S. government, but that's a different story. So anyway, the bottom line is, guys, this is why they're doing this enhanced vetting. So I have a habit I like to go on and on, but it's based upon this order right here. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. I'm still scratching my head over the correct pronunciation of this one word. Because the thing is, guys, I've learned some Russian, some Croatian, some Estonian, and soon to be Finnish, from Finland, Finnish language, and Spanish, because mom's Cuban from Cuba, dad's Dominican. So in my mind, it's like I have to turn one part of my mind off, the other part on when I'm around someone from that part of the world, so I can kind of communicate with them, through basic terms. So sometimes, yeah, my pronunciation might be a bit off. And I also learned the Queen's English growing up as it is, so that's another challenge. Anyway, guys, you get the point. So Ken Scott, Senior U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with US Entry Waiver Services.com. Let me shut this down. And that's 888-908-3841 or 604-562-8140. So guys, I mean, we can get through this. Don't worry about it. I mean, again, because we have the inside track, we know what they need to see and what they don't need to see. So we will still maintain our 100% success rate. And if we think your file won't go through after doing the CBP analyses, then we won't even take it. We won't even sign you up. Because my policy is if I think it won't go through, we don't take it on. And the main reason, guys, in all honesty, is because I want to be able to brag that still have our 100% success rate. So if I know your file is going to be denied, I'm going to say come back at such and such a time period. And that way I can still say we have 100% success because we didn't take it on. So anyway, I'm out and have a great day.